Half a day, and welcome to this video about genetics blood type problems. When we look at blood types for humans, we have 4 different possibilities. A, type A blood, B, type B blood, type AB blood, and type O blood. Now, previously, we've noticed that there was only 2 alleles that were possible. It would be tall or short, or it would be green or yellow. Those were only 2 options. Now we have 4 options, and that's because this particular trait is governed by multiple alleles. And this is when many genes have more than 2 alleles, and therefore they're said to have multiple alleles. This does not mean that the individual can have more than 2 alleles because they still only get 1 copy from their mom, 1 copy from their dad. But it just means that out in the population, there are these 4 different alleles, and of which you will end up with 2 of them, and that combination will determine what your phenotype will look like. And blood is a classic example of multiple alleles. Another example that we look at is eye color. Even though we've simplified it previously, it actually gets a bit more complicated. If we look at the phenotype for blood types, we see that there are 4 phenotypes: type A blood, type B blood, type AB, and O. If we look at their genotypes, this is looking at the actual combination of alleles that the individual has. The type A person could have 1 copy of the A gene and a second copy of the A gene, and that person will display type A blood. Or they may have 1 copy of the A gene and another copy of what we call the O gene. Okay, the O gene is recessive to the A. The A's together, though, will just make A blood. With B blood, they may be the same way. They may have 2 copies of the B gene, or they may just have 1 copy of the B gene and a copy of the O gene. But in this case, the B will be dominant over the O, and so the person will display the phenotype of type B blood. Now, in the case that you end up with an offspring with both an A and a B, both of those traits are going to be seen. So we're going to actually see a combination, and this is called type AB blood because both A and B will be displayed in the phenotype. And the individual who has type O blood has 2 of the recessive alleles, and so they will be their genotype is displayed by 2 lowercase i's. So the lowercase i's stand for the recessive trait, which is O, and the capital I with the letter next to it in superscript will determine the A or the B gene. So if you have A's, then the A will be present. If you have B, the B will be present. And for AB blood, they have 1 of each, which again, with these, they get 1 copy from their mother, 1 copy from their father. Since when we do punnett squares, really the information we're placing in the punnett square is simply a symbol. That symbol stands for a whole section of DNA code. So we can change the symbols if we want to make them make more sense to us. So I found more success rather than using the capital I with the A and the lowercase I, that when doing punnett squares, sometimes it's easier to do for the genotype for type A blood, having 2 uppercase A's, or having the A with the O. For B blood, you can be capital B or capital B with the O. AB blood will be with both A and B, and O will be 2 O's. And I find that most students find this is a little bit simpler to fit into the punnett squares, and as long as you read it correctly, you're going to end up with the same outcomes as you would with the capital I and lowercase I. Now, the capital I and the lowercase I do have a meaning, and that is very important as far as the dominant trait and the recessive trait and that type of thing. But if you use this genotype method, you can also find the answers to the genetic problems the same way. So if we look at our first problem, we're going to cross a type O individual with a type AB individual. So we know type O, both recessive, so it is going to be symbolized by lowercase o, lowercase o. And our other parent, they have an AB, so they will have both A and B. To set up our Punnett square, we are going to place this parent's potential alleles over here that they'll pass on to their offspring, these alleles that will potentially pass on to their offspring, and we will see how that goes. So we have O, O, and this one we have an A or a B. So to figure out, we bring this one, the A, down, and we bring the O across. We bring the A down, and we bring the O across. We bring the B down and O across, and the B down and the O across. So here we can see that these two individuals will have type A blood, because type A, as long as there's one A present, it is going to display the A phenotype. And this other will be type B blood. So for our offspring, we would have a 50% chance of having offspring with type A blood and a 50% chance of having offspring with type B blood. In our next problem, we're going to cross a parent with type A blood with a parent with type B blood. Now here you may wonder, okay, type A can either be AA or AO. Well, in our problem it states that the individual is homozygous. So if they are homozygous for type A, that means they have two capital A's as their genes. For type B blood, we could have BB or we could have the BO. And in the problem it states that the type B individual is heterozygous. So that means that they have the B with the O characteristic also. So we have our parent genotypes. So now we just need to complete our Punnett square, placing the A's on the two sides, the B with the O. So if we bring this one over and this allele down, we get A and the B, and here we have AO and AO. Again, in doing this, we bring this gene across, these genes down, and that is how we fill out our Punnett square. So our offspring that we can see is this offspring, potential offspring. 50% of our offspring would display type AB blood, and 50% of our offspring will display type A blood. So now I want you to try a problem on your own. You have a type A individual that's heterozygous for type A and a type O individual. So I'd like you to pause the video and to get on your piece of paper and draw a Punnett square and figure out what is happening in this problem. So if we look at this problem, type A heterozygous means that they have A with the O characteristic. Type O blood must be OO. So those are our parents. So again, we place the A and the O and the O for this individual. We go across and down in order to figure out the potential offspring. So we have here A, O. This one will be O, O, A, O, and O, O. So looking at our offspring here, we have these two individuals, or 50% of our individuals, these two individuals will be type A blood, and these two individuals, or 50%, will show the phenotype of type O blood. So I hope this helps you out and you do some more practice blood typing problems, and have a great day.